listening to the best radio station on Long Island.
As voted by Long Islanders like you in the Bethpage Best of Long Island Awards.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
Seems years since you held it, baby, while I ranked the bedroom. You said it
90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We are part of the WHPC Sports Talk family. Sports Talk Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And another show every Tuesday at 11 p.m. My name is Rob Leonard. Joining me, of course, is my brother and award-winning sports writer, Timothy J. Leonard. Hello, Timothy J. How are you?
Good morning, brother.
Hold on, I didn't turn your mic on.
Good morning, brother.
There we go.
I'm still outstanding.
How many pages of notes do we have?
Even better when my microphone is turned on.
How many pages of notes do we need here?
There's a lot going on, brother.
No, it's not.
A lot going on.
Nothing's going
A
on.
lot going on.
What's happening? Look what's happening to the Mets. Nothing. They traded two of their
Nothing.
players last week. You know, they didn't need them, right?
The Mets are in chaos right now.
No, they're not. Just because they're in last place.
But it's not a fire sale, brother. It's not a rebuild or a fire sale or a liquidation. That's what your general manager said yesterday, Billy Epler. Said it's not a rebuild or a fire sale or a liquidation. It's a repurposing.
That's what it is, man.
Repurposing.
That's right.
I have never heard a sell-off and the dismantling of a $370 million team, the highest payroll in baseball history. I've never heard of anything, even a $50 million payroll. I've never heard it called a repurposing. I don't know who came up with that word. I want them fired.
Well, I don't
you know me. I don't call for jobs. That's idiotic.
I am bothered by this whole thing. As much as I don't think the Mets overspent if they were winning, but when they're losing, they
It's
do
never
overspend.
overspending when you're winning, brother. Never.
Yep.
The Braves signed all of their core guys to long-term contracts. People thought they were crazy. Oh, look at all the money they're throwing around. Well, you know what? The Braves are going to be good for the next 5 years,
Yes, they
at
are.
least, if not more than that. That was money well spent. And they got Ronald Acuna Jr., who is probably going to be the NL MVP this year, locked up to a long-term contract that is paying him dirt compared to what other superstars are making.
Yes, I agree.
So good for the Braves. Good for Acuna. He still got 9 figures, but he got low 9 figures. And it allowed the Braves to sign a lot of other guys. But that's good drafting. That's good. It's good talent acquisition.
I'm actually wrong, brother.
About what?
Mets are in fourth.
Yeah, what I didn't even hear what you said.
I said they're in last place.
Oh no, there's always going to be the Washington Nationals there for you, brother.
Yeah.
Always going to be the Nationals. The Phillies might stumble along. The Marlins might overachieve a little bit, but the Washington Nationals are consistent. You know what's happening with the Washington Nationals, brother?
No.
That nobody's really noticing is my man C.J. Abrams is turning into a superstar before our eyes.
For the Washington Nationals.
Not Washington Nationals shortstop. That's the guy that the Nationals got in the Juan Soto trade. One of the guys.
Okay.
Turning into a superstar before our very eyes. And if C.J. Abrams is still available in your fantasy or rotisserie league, I don't know what you're waiting for to pick the guy up. He's stolen probably 12 bases in the last 2 weeks. Well, he's been phenomenal. Since they put him in a leadoff spot, phenomenal.
Good for him. Anyway,
and he's a Swami, by the way.
Oh, of course, brother, of course.
First place Swami. So we moved into first place over the weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You know, if the Mets can only win 15 games in a row.
Oh, that's all. It's easy.
They could maybe do this.
It's easy.
Yes.
Do what, though? What do you say? Do what? Do this. What is
go
what
into
is this?
second place.
So a 15-game winning streak could help the Mets get a wild card spot.
Yeah. Well,
What's the Mets record right now?
I shut the mic off. Their record is 50-55. The Marlins are 57-40.
So a 15-game winning streak would make them 65-55. So that would put them at 10-game over threshold, the Tim Leonard rule.
Right.
So yes, that would maybe help them because if they followed they had the 6-game winning streak, but they followed that by going 8-8 in July. So right now they were, I guess before yesterday's game, they were 14-8 in July.
Yeah.
Which not a bad month. I'm not getting all over them. But you win 6 in a row and then you go 500. You're not really helping yourself that much. You got to keep winning. That's been the Mets' problem all season. It's been consistency and putting a winning streak together and winning significant number of games in a row. And instead, it's the Mets. They win 1, they lose 2. They win 2, then they lose 3. And they've never, beside that 6-game winning streak, it's always been win a couple, lose a couple, win 2, win 3, lose 4. It's been stumbling the whole time. Anytime they made a little bit of progress, they followed it up with 2 losses.
Yes,
and that's why this team needs to be torn down.
Well, we should say David Robertson got traded to the Marlins for 2 prospects. Big deal.
No, you see, that's the attitude. I hate that.
Yeah, well,
it's totally uninformed.
It is informed.
Met fans did so much crying after that Robertson trade. You know what the Mets got? The Mets got 2 pretty good prospects for a 38-year-old reliever who was on a 1-year contract.
Are they coming to play this year? No.
What difference does that make?
I want them playing right now.
For what?
I don't know.
So the Mets can finish 6 games under 500?
Yeah. I want a good end of
you
the season
build
so
for
I
the
can
future, brother.
feel better about buying season tickets for next year, even though I don't have season tickets.
You build for the future.
Yeah,
and that's what the Mets right now, in the next 24 hours before the trading deadline hits tomorrow, the Mets need to figure out, are we going for it next year? And are we going to try and do this magic formula again that clearly did not work this season? Because that's going to tell them if they keep Justin Verlander.
Right.
Because Verlander's got next season, plus he has an option for $35 million in 2025. So are the Mets going to use next season as a way to try to gather more talent and set themselves up for the future, or are they going to say we're going for it next season? Now, the problem with that right now is I think that the guy who will be running the team next season isn't here yet. And that's David Stearns of the Milwaukee Brewers, who by all accounts is going to be hired to replace Billy Epler, or maybe Billy Epler still keeps his job, but Stearns is hired as his boss, which means that Stearns is doing the job and not Epler. But the guy who's going to be making the calls and calling the shots isn't here. So that's an issue. But when you're looking at what is going on with the Mets, I mean, first of all, the hue and cry, as they say, brother.
The what?
Of what the Met fan reaction to David Robertson not only being traded, but being traded to the Marlins.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why are they trading it to the team we're trying to catch? You ain't catching the Marlins.
I just said
high?
if the Mets win 15 games, they'll be...
Oh, that's all. Just a 15-game winning streak.
That's right.
When was the last time the Mets won 15 in a row?
I don't know.
Decades.
You never know.
Probably 86 was the last time. And if they did it that season. You know how often 15-game winning streaks happen? Especially with flawed teams.
So they go 14-1.
Especially with flawed teams like this one. First of all, you couldn't have Max Scherzer pitch on the road and have a 15-game winning streak. He can't win on the road.
Okay. Well,
of course, he's traded now, so it doesn't matter.
He's gone.
But the decision that the Mets are going to make with Justin Verlander has everything to do with, are we going for it next year, and are we going to try and win, or are we going to set ourselves up for 2025 and forward from that? Because if the latter is the decision, then Justin Verlander will be traded within the next 24 hours. I hear the Dodgers are very interested.
That's who I
which wouldn't surprise me. And the Dodgers have a hell of a farm system. So the Dodgers could give the Mets a couple of guys that would help them immensely in the next couple of years. But to sit here and say that, first of all, I don't know what delusional alternate reality the Met fans live in.
Hey.
Why do Met fans think you're getting stars for a 38-year-old reliever who's on a one-year contract? Anybody could have gotten David Robertson this winter. Anybody. The only reason the Mets got him is because they said, yeah, we'll give you $10 million. I don't think another team offered David Robertson more than $5 million.
Well,
But Cohen and Epler were throwing contracts around like they were nothing. Hey, $10 million, doesn't matter. Yeah, $10 million. Fine, we'll give it to you. Well, then Diaz gets hurt, and now all of a sudden, David Robertson goes from being a middle reliever to being the guy in the ninth inning, and now all of a sudden he's valuable. But now all of a sudden, Met fans are like, oh my God, we can't lose David Robertson. We lose David Robertson, our season is over. Hey, your season was over in June.
well, it was.
So don't sit here and cry and say, oh, we would have caught the Marlins, we would have caught the Padres. Stop with the garbage. We're 100+ games into the season. The Mets are, what was that record you said? 50 and 55?
50 and 55.
They're 5 games under 500.
Right.
105 games into the season. You think all of a sudden they're flipping the switch and changing that? No.
No.
86 wins, to me, is the minimum to get to a wild card spot. So the Mets would have to win 36 of their remaining, what is it, 36 of their remaining 57 games. So they'd have to go 36 and 19. No, that's wrong.
No. Hold on, let's see.
That's 50.
50, that's
55 games.
It's 105.
So 36 and 21.
57 games left.
Yeah, 36 and 21. That's a minimum. 36 and 21.
They can
No.
do that, I'm sure.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
36 and 21 is like six something baseball. There's not a chance. Not a chance the Mets are going to do that for an extended period, for a 2-month period, when they haven't done anything remotely close to that for the first 3-4 months of the season. 4 months. So the expectations of Met fans are just delusional. You don't flip a switch. Coach Parcells said it best. It's the line I always go back to. You are what your record says you are. The Yankees are trash right now, too. I'm not going to deny it. They're, 3 games over 500? I've said for weeks the Yankees should be sellers. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll talk about them in a minute. But it's absurd to me what is going on and the reaction from Met fans when they heard Marco Vargas, the infielder, 18-year-old infielder, and catcher Ronald Hernandez, which is what to me, Billy Epler did a nice job there. He got 2 legitimate prospects for a 38-year-old relief pitcher who, yes, is having a good season.
Well, my problem with prospects, brother.
Wait.
Hold on.
No. The one thing I want to add, for a guy, 38-year-old relief pitcher, who you can sign again in the offseason. He's not gone forever. If you want him back, sign him in January.
Well, maybe they will. But then again, you never know. Do I think they'll sign him? No. I think, But then again.
Does he want to come back?
That's the thing. I don't know. Would you?
I would. If Cohen wants to sign me another $10 million check, sure, I'll come back. Okay. Like I said, the Mets overpaid Robertson by an enormous amount.
Okay, well, let's see. Verlander's, today is the 30th, 31st. So we have today. Today's the last day, right? Or tomorrow's the last day.
Tomorrow, Tuesday. I don't remember what
4:00?
time. I think it's 4:00. Might be 6:00.
Okay,
but
so
it's in that. Basically, by dinner time tomorrow, we'll know what's going on. We'll know what happened. We'll know if the Yankees actually got up off their butts and actually made a move.
I don't think they are, brother. I think.
Well, if they don't, I put it in the notes. If the Yankees don't make any moves between now and the deadline, Brian Cashman should be fired. Plain and simple. Fired.
Why?
Because the inactivity is stupid. They're not winning with the team that they have. Yes, I know Nestor Cortez is coming back. I know Jonathan Loizac is coming back. I don't care. You need to make moves. Your team wasn't hitting before all of these guys got hurt. Aaron Judge got hit and the offense turned to nothing. There was not a single, besides Gleyber Torres, there was not a single dangerous bat in the lineup. So to not make any moves, and like Yankee fans and the national media, why we still don't realize or recognize that George Steinbrenner died a long time ago and that Hal Steinbrenner runs the team in an entirely different way. Why this still has yet to be recognized, I have no clue. Because I saw the stories the other day about Juan Soto could get traded from the Padres and the Yankees are in the mix. That's laughable crap. Because the Yankees are at the luxury tax. Hal Steinbrenner does not want to go over the luxury tax.
Right.
So unless the Yankees get rid of Giancarlo Stanton, they're not getting Juan Soto. Not a chance. We have to recognize the differences in Yankees universe between father and son.
Well,
father would spend whatever it took. Son has a line that he does not want to cross.
The son also likes that flying with his private jet, where he's not being bothered. So, that's his little thing. That's why I think
has to do with anything.
That's where he instead of George yelling at people, that's the way he handled life. Hal handles life by going in the plane and gets very peaceful, and that's what he does.
He has a number, the luxury tax number.
Right.
He does not want to go over it.
Nope.
Doesn't matter where he is, whether he's on the ground or in the air. He's not going over that number. The Yankees have like $2 or $3 million in between their current payroll and the luxury tax. Juan Soto doesn't fit into that.
No.
So to say Yankees are in the mix, first of all, if you trade for Juan Soto, you got to pay Juan Soto. He's got one more year left before he's a free agent. And the amount of prospect capital that it would cost to bring Juan Soto to the Yankees. First of all, I'd love to see Juan Soto. Don't get me wrong. If George Steinbrenner was the owner, Juan Soto would be a Yankee. And he wouldn't care what it took to get him. And here we would have, instead of all of these ridiculous bats that are in the Yankees lineup that can't even get to a 300 on base percentage, which is disgusting. The old Yankees from the late 90s would laugh at this team, how ineffective they are in the batter's box. But Juan Soto's on-base percentage is something like .417. He's ridiculous. The guy gets on base. His batting average is .262. Nothing to write home about. But .417. The guy walks all the time because pitchers fear him, and he has a great eye. So he'd get on base for Aaron Judge. Put him in front of Aaron Judge, and it would fix a lot of what's wrong with the Yankees lineup. But they're never going to do it. I also saw a report, and I don't know how true it is, but if it is, it could turn out to be the best trade of the entire deadline. Is that if the Yankees could trade Giancarlo Stanton to the San Francisco Giants and pick up most of his remaining salary, to me, if you can get Stanton off the Yankees' payroll, that's the best trade of the deadline, because he is an albatross at this point, and he's not going to get better. He is giving you below replacement level value. And they're paying him $32 million this year to do it. To do something basically that Jake Bauers could do for $720,000, which is the major league minimum. So use that $31.3 million that you'd have left over from from Giancarlo Stanton and give it to a player who can actually do something, like Juan Soto.
Yeah, well,
I'm fired up today, brother.
I know you are.
I'm so disgusted with it was supposed to be the summer of George, brother. And I don't mean Steinbrenner, I mean Costanza. It was supposed to be the summer of George with the baseball teams. We were looking forward to a Subway Series. Everything looked good. The Yankees looked good. The Mets looked good. Everybody was happy. Aaron Judge was re-signed. Steve Cohen was spending money like he had to, or otherwise they were going to take it all away from him. And this summer has just turned to crap.
Yeah, it has.
Both teams are being horribly mismanaged. They made a lot of bad decisions.
And fortunately for the Yankees, the Mets have been much worse than them.
They have. There's no arguing that. The Yankees haven't been good by any stretch of the imagination. But, the American League East is a very good division. The Yankees are in last place in the American League East, but they're still over 500. But all of that being said, right now, they're not a wild card team.
No.
And for the Yankees to not even be a wild card team, and we're sitting here talking about them being buyers, but what are they doing? Randall Grichuk was supposed to be somebody they were thinking about getting, who really is past his prime. I don't think would have moved the needle at all. But he just got moved to the Angels yesterday. The Angels are making moves. They said, hey, we're keeping Shohei Ohtani, and then they just started trading guys. And said, all right, we need to get guys around Ohtani. Mike Trout's probably sitting there saying, I've been here 8 years. What are you waiting for? We finally doing something. So now they got somebody around Ohtani, and Ohtani's going to be a free agent next year. That's going to be the big move for the Mets. That's why if you keep Verlander,
you can't afford him.
Yeah, stop. They can't. The Mets can't afford him. Cohen doesn't care what the payroll goes to. He does not care. No, he doesn't. If you can get Shohei Ohtani, he's not going to care.
I don't know.
But if you have Verlander, and Verlander, I'll tell you what, Verlander, yes, he missed the first month. Met fans were upset. Verlander's pitching very well.
He's 8-8.
He's pitching very well. You look at his numbers. He's pitching very well.
I'll look at his numbers.
So, but you put Verlander and Ohtani at the top of the rotation, I don't care if you lose Scherzer. That's a net gain. It's a huge net gain. If I'm the Mets, I'm looking to trade Tommy Pham. I'm looking to trade Canna. I'm looking to trade Jose Quintana if somebody will take him. I'm getting as many prospects as I can for the guys who are on the roster right now. And I'm starting over in the offseason, and I'm going to see what kind of deals I can make and how many free agents I can sign. Because they can't continue to maintain the blueprint for what they're doing. But they can do it for another year or two while they build the farm system. Because that's what they need to do. The Houck kid that they drafted in the Mets draft pick this season was moved down 10 picks because of how much money Cohen spent. That's going to happen again next year. Because you know the guy's going to spend all kinds of money. But Colin Houck, the guy they drafted, was projected to be a much higher pick. So it didn't hurt them because they got a guy they probably would have picked anyway. I don't know if that's going to happen 2 years in a row. It's probably not. But the Mets got fortunate this year, and they got a guy who, like I said, should be an impact player for them. The trade for Scherzer, they got Luis Angel Acuna. If that last name sounds familiar, it's because, he's the younger brother of Ronald Acuna, who said the other day that Luis Angel is better than he was at his age. Now, that was the only prospect the Mets got. And Steve Cohen had to pay the Rangers $36 million of Max Scherzer's contract for this year and next year to be able to get him.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's a really good player.
I'm bothered that so much of the salary has to be paid by the Mets.
It's the cost of doing business, brother. And the good thing, actually the bad thing I'm going to say for the Mets, yes, they're getting players and yes, they're getting talent. And that's the other thing I want to talk to Met fans about. When you make trades, I don't care if you're trading with the Marlins or whoever. Met fans were complaining about Ronald Hernandez, the catcher that the Marlins sent them in the Robertson trade, and they're screaming, "We don't need another catcher."
Well, we don't.
When you trade, brother. Here. This is. We're going to go to Tim's lesson of the day, brother. I might start this every week.
Professor Tim.
I might start this every week.
Professor Tim Leonard.
Tim's lesson of the day. All right? When you make trades, you get talent.
Is that?
You get the best talent you can. I don't care what position it plays. You get talent. You know what's great about baseball players and about athletes? They can change positions.
Okay.
Catchers can become first basemen.
Yeah.
Shortstops can become center fielders.
Okay.
They can become right fielders. Ronald Acuna is now a right fielder. He didn't start there.
Okay.
So this is my point. You get talent. You don't say, "Oh my God, we need pitching." No, it doesn't matter. If the Marlins don't want to give you a pitcher, fine. Take the guys who are actually legitimate prospects.
But not everyone is movable, brother. Piazza couldn't play first.
He could have. Not late in his career. Late in his career, he's old. His legs are beat up. You don't make that switch at 30-something. You make that switch at 20. Where they say, all right, hey, you know what? There's prospects, brother. Prospects get moved all the time. The Nationals have a prospect named Brady House. He's a Swami. He moved from shortstop to third base because he's big. He's 6'5" and 230. And they said, well, he's never going to stick at shortstop. And he was like, no, I plan on playing shortstop. That's my position. Well, you know what? Double-A this year. They moved him. Brady House, you're a third baseman now. So that's it. That's what happens that's what the minor leagues are for. And for all the people who were saying with Texas, we need pitching, but we don't want Jack Leiter. Look at his numbers. You know what the minor leagues are for? Developing pitches. Jack Leiter, we want you to work on your breaking pitches or your curveball. So you know what you're going to be throwing in games? You're going to be throwing curveballs. You're going to be throwing breaking pitches. Because where else are you going to work on them except games? And you know what? If that means your ERA is going to be crap and we're going to lose games because of it, we don't care. Because we need you to develop those pitches so you can be a better pitcher. That's what the minor leagues are for. This is the stuff that I see from Met fans all the time. It aggravates me. I can't stand it when these.
Well, you hate Met fans anyway.
I don't hate Met fans. I hate dumb people. If you're sitting here and griping about what Billy Epler is doing, just to gripe about Billy Epler, learn what you're doing. Learn what you're talking about.
Why would they? Why would anyone learn about anything, brother?
You don't worry about what position an 18 or 19 or 20-year-old kid plays. You know why? Because if they're that good an athlete to begin with, they can learn a new position.
Well, you hope so. Anyway, brother, that's a crazy half hour on the Mets and Yankees. Give us a call if you'd like, 516-572-7440. We'd love to talk to you about Mets, Yankees, or anything else. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Anyway, brother, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back to talk more sports right after this.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by the Enza Brandy Law Firm, a full-service law firm that works with litigation, personal injury, real estate, and trusts and estates. The Enza Brandy Law Firm is located at 33 Walt Whitman Road, Suite 203 in Huntington. If you are looking to purchase your first home or seek compensation for injuries, you may get more information about the Enza Brandy Law Firm 631-757-7471 or online at enzabrandylaw.com. That's ENZABRANDI law.com.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by United Auto Body, located at 275 East Merrick Road in Valley Stream. United Auto Body specializes in auto body repairs and insurance claims adjustments. Professional tow truck services are also available. Open 6 days a week, closed Sundays. More information is available at 516-825-1330. That's 516-825-1330. Or online at unitedautobodyin.com.
90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. How you doing? We have a phone call, brother. We're going to take him as soon as I read this promo. Don't forget about Good Gold. Big Ed Newlands plays the hits of the forgotten songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That is today at 10 a.m. Good Gold with Big Ed right here on 90.3 WHPC. You ready to talk to Joe, listening up in Albany?
Go ahead, brother.
How you doing, Joe?
Very good, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are things in Albany today?
Sunny and beautiful today.
Yeah,
but listen, I must confess I came in a couple minutes late, so I missed the first maybe 10 minutes or so.
Tim was on fire, literally.
I heard him. I heard the last 15 or 20 of whatever it was of the Swami ranting there. That was some good rant.
Swami's in first place, Joe. We moved into first place. We're looking to go back-to-back this year.
Yeah, people don't care.
Yeah, but listen, listen. I just wanted to say that I did hear the end of the rant, and I agree wholeheartedly about both teams. But I didn't hear the beginning. Why wouldn't they bring a couple of these guys up, Tim? I mean, either team, but especially the Yankees with Dominguez and the other people, Florial and whoever else. They got to be better than Bowers and.
Dominguez is too young. He's still only 19. He's not ready. Florial, I don't know what's going on, Florial, because there is a perception from the outside of the organization that the Yankees, for some reason, are kind of fed up with Florial and they don't want to give him a chance, which I don't understand. If that's the case, then unload him. I'm sure somebody I'm sure somebody in the next 24 hours would say, "Hey, we'll give you whatever. We'll give you a bag of balls for him." And if they want to get rid of him, then fine, then get rid Jake Bowers and Greg Allen and Billy McKinney. I don't know what difference would Florial make. He strikes out a little bit
Cordero.
more. Yeah,
Franchi Cordero. Those guys.
Franchi had a good April. I give Franchi all the credit in the world. Had a great April.
Well,
hit like 10 home runs.
Tim, I know you guys don't want to beat this up much, but I just want to say duck Tim because I'm going to sound a little bit like Rob and agree that when you see what happened to Severino last night,
he was awful. I turned the game off in the second inning. I couldn't stand it.
We turned it off too, but
in fact, I turned it off in the first inning. Now that I'm thinking about it,
there's got to be somebody somewhere in the minors or somebody that can pick up from the team up here in Troy, the Frontier League, that could pitch like long relief. I'm saying like 3 innings, 4 innings. They don't have anybody that can do that.
Not as the bullpen is currently comprised. I don't think so. I mean, there's probably a guy there who I don't even know is there. I mean, the one thing that I was thinking last night is, to me, we might have seen Luis Severino's last start with the Yankees last night.
Could be.
Because if I'm the Yankees and I'm pretending that I'm serious about the possibility of making the playoffs, you can't run this guy out there every 5 days. He's had one good start in his last 8 or maybe 9 or so. And most of those starts have looked something like last night, where he just gets tattooed. He's Charlie Brown out there.
He's terrible. And, in the thing with Epler clarifying about that it wasn't a fire sale, we'll have to just wait and see what happens in the next day or two. But
the comment was laughable. I mean, you call it whatever you want to call it. I don't care. It was a ridiculous quote. I give him points for being creative, but it was a ridiculous quote. Repurposing.
You got to be careful because of the Mets and the Padres and all these teams with these, and the Yankees too, with the big payrolls. The fans are always, well, I want to sign Soto and I want to sign, Scherzer and I want to sign this and I want to sign that.
Right.
And then they go out there and they run the records they're running right now, and then everybody's, like you were saying, everybody's ranting like this is stupid, and it's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean the Padres. To me, there's no reason why the Padres have the record they have. Because they not only have great talent, they have great young talent.
Yeah,
and their pitching staff, to me, it looks pretty good, but somehow, some way, the bats haven't been getting the job done. That's been the Padres' issue. The hitting has been not good at all. And Machado's been hurt some, but it just hasn't worked for whatever reason. And that's not to say it wouldn't work next season, or it might not. To me, the Padres have a better chance of making it work this season than the Mets do. But it's as Yogi used to say, it's getting late early.
Well, and nobody's mathematically out. If you look at the goofy wild card thing, where I think just about the whole league is in the wild card thing.
Well, I think they're using the Mets as the last wild card team, and that's just based on payroll
math.
Because I can't even. In reality, the Mets are not. They're not involved.
They win 15 games, they are.
Yeah, my brother thinks they're going to win 15
Well,
games.
listen, thanks for taking the call. I know you got a lot of topics, but good job, guys.
Thanks
a lot, Joe. Take care, man. 516-572-7440. Let's go to the Giants, brother.
Jets, brother.
You want to sign the Jets first? You don't think Saquon Barkley is more important?
No.
Than the
not
Jets?
with all the stuff that was going on with the Jets this week.
Okay.
Craziness with the Jets, brother. The Jets have turned into a soap opera. So
that's why
Hard Knocks made the right choice.
Hard Knocks picked the right team then.
So, first of all, Sean Payton, with some really unfortunate and moronic comments. I understand why Sean Payton said what he said. I will read you the quote from Sean Payton. He called Nathaniel Hackett's 15-game run with the Broncos last season, quote, one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. Which, first of all, I mean,
really better than
Rich Kotite.
Rich Kotite had 2 years of 1-15.
Exactly. So stupid, but I understand why he said it, because he also said that the Jets were infatuated with the pomp and circumstance of the blockbuster. Or he used the words pomp and circumstance of the blockbuster offseason, which obviously has been highlighted by the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers. And he indicated or intimated that the Jets were a, quote, dream team that is doomed to failure. I don't know how you make that kind of a statement.
Well, he sounds like a Jet fan.
But it's kind of idiotic. Now, first of all, Sean Payton, as Aaron Rodgers later wound up saying, get the names of my coaches out your mouth. I want Will Smith to go to Denver, smack Sean Payton in the mouth. That's what I want. Will Smith, we need you.
No, he only slaps his buddies.
Now, the reason, brother, that Sean Payton said all of this is pretty obvious to me. He's trying to pump up Russell Wilson. That's his guy. He needs Russell Wilson in a good frame of mind. He needs Russell Wilson to be Russell Wilson. Last year, Wilson goes to the Broncos, immediately signs a mega deal extension. They can't trade him. Nobody's going to take him for the salary that he's making, especially after the crap year that he had last year. Russell Wilson threw 16 touchdown passes last season. They play 17 games.
Not good.
Daniel Jones had more than 16 touchdown passes.
Overrated Daniel Jones.
League high 55 sacks for Russell Wilson. That's because the line was garbage. But Wilson's not going anywhere. He's Peyton's quarterback. So, yes, Sean Payton is going to try to boost up Russell Wilson and try to blame somebody else for the lousy season the Broncos had last year. That's part of his job. But you don't do that by crushing somebody else and saying he did the worst coaching job in the history of the NFL. So Aaron Rodgers was on something called NFL Plus. I don't know what that is, but he did an interview with them.
Sounds like a streaming site.
It probably is. I don't know.
Anything with Plus is usually streaming.
This was the quote from Aaron Rodgers. He said, "It made me feel bad that someone who has accomplished a lot in the league is that insecure that they have to take another man down to set themselves up for some easy fall if it doesn't go well for that team this year." That was a sit-down interview on I think it was Saturday. "I think it was way out of line, inappropriate, and I think he needs to keep my coach's name out of his mouth." Good stuff, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, what else is he going to say? I mean, I give Rodgers credit, man. He redid his contract.
It took significantly less money. That was the other thing I was going to get to, brother. This happened on Wednesday night. He restructured his contract to basically give back $35 million. I don't know if the Jets wound up adding years and pushing that money back or whatever, or Aaron Rodgers might have just said, hey, you know what? I got all the money I need. $35 million, yeah, it's a lot of money, but let's face it, after taxes and everything else, it's like 16 or 17 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. But it's still, that's the reality that nobody ever really realizes, that when you see all of these crazy salaries for athletes, take off 50% in taxes immediately.
40.
No, 50. At that
40.
tax bracket?
No, it's 40.
Uh-huh.
It's 40.
Anyway.
Bernie never became president.
Aaron Rodgers restructured his contract, gave back almost $35 million. He was due to make $110 million in guarantees in his previous contract, which the Jets got from the Packers. The new deal is $75 million in guarantees. That would be his total compensation for this season and next season. Although somehow, and whoever did this is a genius, Rodgers counts only $8.9 million against the salary cap this season. That's actually a lower number than Zach Wilson, believe it or not. So, wow. All of that said, the Jets now have all kinds of money that they can spend. That's why Dalvin Cook was at practice on Sunday. Jet fans were chanting his name, Dalvin Cook. They want Dalvin. Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, when he gets back from the ACL, would be a dynamic backfield, brother. But now, the only issue that I'm having with the Jets and this all-star team that they are determined to run out on the field at MetLife Stadium, who's blocking for these guys? The O-line is thin. You got a whole lot of skilled players, and they're talking now about bringing in Devontae Adams, too, from the Raiders, who is Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. I think he should give Garrett Wilson a little time. Garrett Wilson is Devontae Adams 2.0. You don't need Devontae Adams. You need another people mover who goes 320 and 6'6", and can move dudes out of the way and say, right this way, Mr. Dalvin Cook. Right this way, Mr. Breece Hall. Don't have to worry about anybody hitting your knee because they're going to be on their back. Can't hit your knee when they're on their back.
No. But, you like to have guys you know, too.
Well, they got enough wide receivers, brother. This team does not need another wide receiver. So let's see what they can do about getting and that's the problem. There aren't a lot of good linemen out there. I don't know how they're going to get him, but they now at least have cap space if they want to get one, or if there's somebody out there who I don't know about who isn't signed, they can go out and get him, and that's what they need to do, because that could cripple this offense if Mekhi Becton gets hurt again, or if Vera Tucker gets another injury like last year. Injuries to the offensive line could cripple this team, legitimately. And right now, it's fun to be a Jet fan because they're talking about every big name that becomes available they're talking about, oh, he's going to the Jets. Well, there's an Achilles heel here,
which isn't a bad thing to hear, actually.
Oh, it's a great thing to hear. The Jets right now are the hot team. The Jets are the it team right now. That's not to say that they're the favorite in the AFC, because they're not by any means. The AFC is loaded. You still got the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't forget that Patrick Mahomes is still playing for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I know.
And he's healthy.
I know.
So, and Joe Burrow hurt himself the other day. He got a calf strain. But Cincinnati's still there. Buffalo's still there. Miami's still there. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC. But the Jets are one of those good teams. Whereas in past seasons, for the past couple of decades, the Jets weren't in that conversation. Now, at least, they're in the conversation.
That's true. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley, brother. He was
curious Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he was given his franchise tag with the Giants, but he only got a 1-year deal.
Well, he was only going to get a 1-year deal when they couldn't come to an agreement last week. On Monday was the deadline, last Monday. But what happened after that was puzzling, because basically Barkley accepted the franchise tag that he said he wasn't going to accept. But the Giants wind up giving him a $2 million signing bonus, which, hey, that still counts.
Yes, it does.
And he can make another $909,000 in incentives. So basically it's a 1-year deal for $11 million plus a $2 million signing bonus, which is $13 million, which is basically in the area what Barkley was looking for. So the bonuses are split 3 ways. If he gets 1,350 rushing yards and a playoff berth, 11 touchdowns and 65 receptions, then for each one of those incentives made, he'll get $303,000. All reachable. I mean, he's going to have to stay healthy, obviously, but if he has the season he had last year, I'm pretty sure he reaches all of those. The issue with Barkley, though, is the Giants can franchise tag him again next year. He wanted them to agree to not franchise tag him next year, but this is gonna happen again next season, because there's not going to be a long-term extension for Barkley. The Giants signed Andrew Thomas, the O-lineman, and you know what, brother? Think back to that draft. The Giants take Andrew Thomas. There were a bunch of O-linemen in that draft, and the Giants got the right guy, because they could have taken Becton, who's been a walking injury for 2 out of 3 years. Andrew Thomas is the best left tackle in football right now.
Right.
So the Giants got the right guy. So good, congratulations to them on that, because they could have taken any one of 4 guys. They took the guy. So, but he got signed. Jones, like you said, got signed. They're paying Waller, who they got from the Raiders. There's a lot of big contracts already on the books. And you have to be judicious with how you spend your money. The Giants aren't going to give a big contract to a running back when no running backs are getting paid. It's the only position in the NFL basically that is being neglected, but every team in the league is neglecting it.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't, but that's just how the league is
I also
nowadays.
think they're focusing way too much on quarterbacks. So,
well, they are, but you need a quarterback to win.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not sure Daniel Jones and his $20 million contract is going to win.
Well, the issue with Daniel Jones that you have to remember, brother, is basically the Giants. Yes, did they sign him to a big contract? It was a big number. It made a nice headline. It was 4 years, $160 million. Oh my God, Daniel Jones, $40 million a year. The Giants can get out of that contract after 2 years.
I know that's
and not get crushed on the salary cap.
That's the part that bothers me about the NFL. They can just drop contracts.
But it's more of how they structured the deal. They did it smart. It's not a matter of, I mean, they can release any player anytime, but It's how they structured the deal so that if they decide they want to get off Daniel Jones, it's not going to hurt them as much as if it was just a straight contract and they said, all right, this is the money, this is how much we want to give you, and this is the number, but then we're going to get killed on the salary cap and in dark money that, if we release you. So there are clauses in the contract that help the Giants get away from it if they decide to get away from it. So that's actually a positive. But, yeah, was the amount of money that is locked up in Jones, was it too much? Of course it was too much. Yeah. But that's what you have to pay quarterbacks these days. Hate to say it, but that's what it is.
Even bad ones.
Even bad ones. So that's where we are. Barkley is in camp with the Giants, which is good. He is a team guy. I'll give him credit for that. I still say, I said it last week, I'll say it again. Barkley sitting out this season would have been stupid. And it would have been career altering. Because you don't sit out a year in the NFL and come back and
you don't sit out when you're in your prime.
Well, that's my point. Do running backs get beat up? Yes. Do they fall off the cliff, to use your favorite term, talent wise and ability wise? Yeah, because they take hits all game.
That's not my favorite term.
Yes, it is.
No,
one of them.
My favorite term is step up.
Yes, brother. Well, they lose their ability to step up because they get hit so much. And all of that pounding takes a toll. So for Barkley to sit out a year in his youthful prime would have been idiotic. Why turn down the chance to make $10 or $11 million and sit at home and earn nothing? You can't just sit there and assume that your career is going to be extended 1 year because you didn't play this year. It's not the case.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. You can't transfer talent. You can't just say, well,
you can't transfer time.
Well, that's even harder to transfer. So, anyway, like I said, Saquon is in. Things are looking fairly optimistic for the Giants. It's still a very tough schedule they have to play this season. I still think that the Cowboys and the Eagles, clearly the Eagles, are the better teams in the NFC East. But we'll find out. We'll see where it goes. I think the Giants are going to be an interesting story this year from the standpoint of, how do they follow up on last season, and what are they able to do, and what kind of progress can they show this season? Because I'm still not 100% sure they're going to show any progress this season.
Brother, we have Hank on the phone.
Hank
from Seaford. Hey, Hank. Welcome back to the show. What do you want to talk about?
All right. I like the introduction there, the first 20 minutes, Angry Tim.
Thank you, Hank.
Listen, Mets and Yankees management needed to hear that kind of stuff.
I hope they were listening. I hope Brian Cashman took 20 minutes from making phone calls to listen to the show.
I'm sure you guys are going to talk about this towards the end of the show, but last week you mentioned the women's soccer, and everything.
Yes, that's the next rant I'm teeing up, Hank.
Okay, all right. Well, my rant is sort of maybe a little different. I mean, I like when the United States participates in all these tournaments and things and Olympics, and I'm definitely a big hockey guy, and I like to see the USA in that. I don't know. I just don't like the women's soccer team. Mostly it's because of that lady Rapinoe, the pink hair.
Rapinoe,
come on.
Yeah. And now it's because she takes a knee and everything, and I don't like that. I don't care about the sexual stuff, but the taking the knee and protesting against the police and all of that.
Hank, one day when we have more time, I'm going to explain the whole taking the knee thing and why it's not what people say it is.
All right.
But when I have next, I tell you what, if you call back next week, we'll talk about it. But we don't have enough time to get into it now because it's going to take more than the rest of the show.
20-minute dissertation on it. It's just, listen, I root for them. It's just like, I don't know.
I think the best way to look at it, Hank, is Americans could sing the national anthem or not sing the national anthem.
That didn't bother me. I thought, and without getting overly political, I thought right-wing media just got into a field day about, they didn't sing the anthem. Who cares? Their players are getting ready for a game. How many players? If you
most
look at
players don't sing.
That's where I was going. Most players don't. They're trying to focus for the game. If you want to sing the song, sing the song. But they're sitting there trying to get focused for the game. Some players will do it by trying to really get focused while the song is playing. Others will sing their hearts out because they're happy as hell to be there representing their country, and they want to do everything they can to remember the moment. But I think it's a silly thing to fixate on.
I think the country does have a long-standing tradition of singing the national anthem. I mean, going back 100 years and baseball.
Well, actually,
some do.
And I do think that we have a young generation that are not very patriotic and really don't even like our country. And I hate to get political, but that's just the way it is. I'm not labeling everyone, but right-wing media can be guilty of that. But when the TV stations refuse to put it on the air, to air the national anthem, and then the players take a knee and all of that.
Yeah, but that's on the TV. That's because
cool.
Yeah, but the TV stations are broadcasting commercials, so they're making money while the anthem is on. That's that change. That's the networks. That's the networks making money. So
Anyway,
you're not gonna stop that from happening.
I'm rooting for him. I just don't like him.
Tonight at 3 o'clock in the morning, Hank. That's when the game is on. U.S. and Portugal.
Yeah, what do you think about the 1-1 tie though to Netherlands? I mean,
I was horrified.
The way they played against Vietnam was pretty terrible too.
I've been horrified basically with both games. First of all, the Americans to me, against the Netherlands we got exposed for lack of speed, and I thought the coach, I thought he's done a bad job basically in both games. Vlatko and Andonovski. First of all, I wasn't really happy when he was hired in the first place. But to use one substitute against the Netherlands, who ran us off the field in the first half, and then in the second half, we got back. I don't know why it took Lindsey Horan almost getting her knee exploded by a Netherlands player, but for that to happen, to finally get her fired up. This is a woman who has played in multiple World Cups. She shouldn't need almost an almost damaging knee injury to all of a sudden say, hey, I'm getting fired up now. Now I'm going to play. This is the World Cup. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, this team has looked uninspired. We've looked slow. We've looked kind of old. But in the second half, I thought they played well against the Netherlands, and I was waiting for substitutes. Rose Lavelle came on. She played well. She energized the team. Her corner kick led to Horan's goal on the header. But where were the other players? We're allowed to use 5 substitutes. He used 1. Lynn Williams is a player who can play on the wing and deliver crosses into the box. Alex Morgan has been invisible in this World Cup. She's supposed to be our leading scorer, our target person up front. Nothing. Williams is the kind of person who can get her the ball from the outside. Alyssa Thompson is a player who, in the second half, Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman both look tired. I know they're young. I know they're supposed to be able to run all day, but they look tired in the last 20 minutes or so. Both of them should have been taken out around the 70-minute mark. And Alyssa Thompson, who is probably the fastest player on the United States team, could have been burning all over Netherlands, who really looked tired in the second half after playing an extraordinary first half. So I don't know what this guy was thinking about. He said he was worried about the team chemistry in the second half. Dude, you need fresh legs. That's what wins games, fresh legs. Get people out there and have them taking on opposition players who have already played 70 minutes or 75 minutes and already have that burn going in their legs. You need fresh legs to go against those people. And I thought he just totally blew that game, because now we're looking at a situation where the Americans are playing Portugal, and Portugal's not a great team, but the Netherlands is playing Vietnam, which is the weakest team in the group. And after the U.S. only beats Vietnam 3-0, which it should have been more goals, now we have to see what happens, and they're going to be playing at the same time, so it's not like we're going to see what they do and then play our game. But Netherlands is going to play Vietnam and be looking to win that game 5 or 6-0. Right now, the U.S. has a 2-goal advantage on goal differential, but to beat Portugal something like 3-0 would be a feat. And that is the problem with allowing or not trying to get the winning goal against the Netherlands is they have the quote-unquote easy game tonight, tomorrow morning, whatever you want to call it, and we have a somewhat more difficult game. Now, there's no Portuguese Cristiano Ronaldo on the women's side, but it's still a pretty good team, and we haven't played well as far as I'm concerned. So they need to sort it out, and they need to figure out what's going on because all of this us against the world nonsense. I said this the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine. First of all, right now, I don't think the United States is going to win the tournament. Or I should say, I don't think they're good enough to win the tournament. That's not to say they won't become good enough to win the tournament, because that can still happen. But I don't know at this point who is going to win this tournament, because I don't think there's been a dominant performance where you can say, wow, that team is really good. Maybe France. But right now, I don't see the United States winning. And I'd like to see a performance from them that expresses the urgency that they should be feeling about, hey, we're not playing very well, and we need to, as my brother would say, step it up.
Yeah. So
only one team advances, right? It's either going to be the U.S. or
no, it's two.
Like both.
It's two. The top two teams in the group go to the round of 16. There's 8 groups.
Okay.
8 groups. Top 2 teams advance. But then the round of 16, it's you could be one and done. Then it goes to the knockout. So it's one game, and whoever wins that game moves on. So you go to the quarterfinals really quick, and then semifinals, finals, and you got your champion. So
Hank,
it's going to happen quickly.
Hank, we have to get going. Thanks for calling. Call back next week, man.
All right.
Let's go USA.
Thanks, USA.
90.3 WHPC. Your WHPC weather forecast powered by Pantanos, with locations in Hewlett, Uniondale, Garden City Park, Freeport, and now open in Levittown. Right now, it's hard to believe it's 80 degrees and sunny, but it's got a great breeze outside.
It was nice this morning, bro.
It was nice yesterday. Even yesterday was even better. The heat wave that we had where it was 95 and Big Ed's going crazy.
Coming back.
It's coming back, but not today. Tonight, it's going to be partly cloudy, low at 7. No, actually, it goes down to 65.
Nice.
And tomorrow.
Big Ed, why you got barcodes on your shirt? What's going on?
Huh?
On the back, on the neck, on the back.
What?
Big Ed's got barcodes on his shirt. I don't know what's going on.
It's a new shirt. I probably forgot to take the sticker off.
Oh, okay.
That's a big sticker, Big Ed.
Anyway, currently outside, it is 79 degrees outside the studios of Nassau Community College. Big Ed's coming up next with the Good Gold Show. You know what that means? Some fine entertainment. We know he was watching soccer this week.
He was. And I'll tell you what,
brother.
Big Ed, I know he's looking forward to the Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces on Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Big WNBA finals preview. Two first-place teams going at it.
The Liberty have been playing really good. So.
Really well, yes. And then the Aces are 23-2. The Liberty are 19-6.
This could be the year for them, brother.
I might be going to the Barclays Center on Sunday.
I wouldn't blame
I would
you.
like to see that game.
Anyway, Big Ed's coming up next with this fine show called Good Gold. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. This show will become a podcast later on. Thank you for listening. Take care and bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHPC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHPC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.